The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody, and good morning to those who are joining from other time zones. My name is Michael Zwetko, and I will be presenting to you today a live product webinar for Montrium's SOP Connect and Training Connect modules. As I mentioned, Michael Zwetko, I'm the VP Operations here at Montrium, and today's focus will be on two of Montrium's modules. Those are the SOP Connect module and the Training Connect. These two modules form the basis of our quality management system, and they allow us to manage control documents such as procedures, work instructions, controlled forms, really any type of document that has a life cycle, meaning it goes from draft to a review stage where we want to collect feedback and all the way to approval and eventually being made effective. Now, the entire life cycle of these documents is managed within our system using automated workflows, which guide the documents through the process by assigning tasks to various individuals who will be participating in the process. We also have integrated web-based forms that allow users to enter information into the system as required by the process. Our system converts documents that are typically generated in in Word or Excel to PDF, and that's so that we can keep these documents for long-term retention. We also have the ability to digitally sign these PDF documents using 21 CFR Part 11 compliant digital signature solution. Our solution will also apply metadata to the documents so that they can be classified according to the document type. And this metadata will also allow us to apply retention policies to the document if necessary. And we're also able to track the audit trail for a particular document that's considered a record, and also control the versioning on that particular document. We also have a template management repository where members of the document management group are able to centrally manage templates that are associated with the various types of control documents. So if it's an SOP template or a work instruction template, we have the ability to associate that with the type of document. Therefore, whenever a user creates a new document, they'll be using that source template. Now, the SOP Connect module is directly integrated with our Training Connect module in that it allows us to create training activities automatically when, let's say, a document is being revised. So if we update a procedure, we need people to be retrained on that procedure. The system will be able to assign training activities automatically to all the individuals that need to be trained based on their job function. And this is done through what's called the training matrix, which we'll see in the system. We also have the ability to associate any type of training media, so a presentation, a video, or any type of documents, or even external links to other websites on the internet. We're able to link these types of media to our training courses, and the users will receive links to all those when they're required to do the training. We can also associate quizzes to training activities so that an employee needs to pass a multiple choice quiz prior to receiving a certificate on that particular course. And this is done automatically in the system. It'll verify whether or not the employee has successfully completed the quiz. And then finally, we also have the ability to generate reports that allow us to quickly view the status of the training activities within our system. We were able to see if there are any gaps, meaning any missing training for an individual, so that we can, let's say, as a department manager, determine whether or not all of our employees are effectively trained. So in order to put the system into context, what we will be doing today is going through a real-life scenario. That's something that typically happens in a life science company or any company where we have control processes that are defined by standard operating procedures. And in this case, what we'll be doing is we'll be initiating a change request on the document. In fact, just to expedite the demo, that change request has already been submitted by one of my colleagues, and so we'll pick up the process where the change request has been submitted, and then I'll be going through as the department manager to then approve the request. This particular change will require training to be done, so we will see how when the change control gets sent to me as department manager, I can select the training course that I want the individuals to be trained on, and then I'll also be showing you how, as the department manager, I can visualize in the system very quickly what the status is of the training by going and looking at the training activities and the training overview report. So to help me out with today's demo, I'll have my colleague Oliver, who will be playing the role of the document author, and he's already requested a change, like I said, to be able to change a document, and as soon as I go into the system, I'll show you more or less how he made that change request, and then we'll pick up the process from where I'll basically be approving it. He'll also be making updates to that document, which means that and he's actually received the draft document, and he'll have made the changes that need to be made for that corresponding revision. He'll also be signing off on the final document as the author, and then myself, I'll be playing the role of the department manager. I'll be approving the document change request, and I will also be signing off using digital signatures on the final document as an approver. So just to give you an overview of the steps that we'll be going through, so I'll have received the change request. Once that request is received, then Oliver's already made the changes to the document. So I'll be approving the change control form, where I'll be indicating then the impact of the change, whether or not training is required, who's going to be reviewing, and who's going to be approving the document. Then we'll be doing a step whereby we'll be performing a review on the document in parallel. So this is a control review where we're collecting feedback. And I'll be doing this along with Oliver so that we can show you the fact that we can do review in parallel, meaning we can both be in the document at the same time and providing our comments in the document. Then we'll be going through the digital signature of the document. Also, Oliver will be signing the document as well as myself. Then we'll be receiving and completing training tasks. So we'll be able to see how a user can complete a training task by successfully completing a quiz. And then finally, I'll be going into the system to look for any missing training, to identify what gaps are currently existing and who's been trained on the document. So with that, I will jump into the system now, and I'll just give you a quick overview of the different areas. So what we're looking at right now is the SOP Management Module, where we have various quick links that take me to areas that will, as an end user, I'll be interacting with most of the time. So I can see, for instance, any active tasks that I have that have been assigned to me right here in my panel where it says my SOP management tasks. And in fact, I can see I have a document change control approval task, and that's the request that, as I mentioned, was already been submitted by Oliver. I can also very quickly go and see my draft documents if I was working on any documents by clicking on that link, and it'll take me to the draft documents that I'm currently working on. The effective quality documents library, this is essentially the main area that users will go to view documents that are currently effective. Here we have various folders grouping the different types of documents. So for instance, if I want to look at all the procedures, I could click on this link, and I can see the various procedures here grouped by status and by business unit. And let's say as an end user I wanted to change one of these procedures. So I want to show you just how Oliver would have initiated the change request. He would simply click on the document, and here we have what's called a context menu that provides actions that we can initiate on the document. So here we have this initiate DCR action, and what that does is it pops up this form which I can then complete with the change request rationale, and as you can see, the system has already populated this form with existing information that it's reading about who the user is. So it's reading who I am, it's populating me as the change request originator, if the date is being populated, the document title, number, and revision. And we also have the section here where we can specify the document change control owner. So this is the person who will carry out the changes to the documents and will be making the updates. And in this case, I'm actually playing both roles because I've logged in as the department manager, and it's a document that belongs to my department. So I'm essentially logged in as the change request approver as well. So that's just to show you what it looks like from an end user's perspective when they're initiating the change. So let me just go back now. We have this link will allow us to create a new document, a new SOP, and as I mentioned, it'll actually create an SOP based on a template that has been associated with that document type. And this is a configurable template that members of the document management group can change at any point in time. And we also have the ability to view all document change requests and document activity logs. So document activity logs is basically an area where we can go to see the entire history of changes that have been made to a document. So right now we're seeing every action that has ever been created on a particular document. So if I go to this document here, we see that there was a document change control that has been completed, and that was really to create the first document. Now we also have a periodic review that is currently undergoing, that document is currently undergoing. And the periodic review is something that the system automatically manages. Let me just quickly go back into the effective documents library to explain how that works. Now each document here has an effective date and a periodic review date. So this periodic review date is being monitored by the periodic review workflow. And essentially every day it scans through this library to determine whether or not there are documents that are requiring periodic review. And if there are, the system will automatically create a periodic review form, and it will populate that form in that document activity logs library that we just saw, so that we can track throughout time all the activities and see that, in fact, a document was periodically reviewed, let's say, every 2 years, and the form will also capture the outcome, so whether or not changes are required or if the document is still valid in its current state, in which case the periodic review date will simply be updated to the next period. That is a completely configurable parameter, the actual period of the periodic review. It can be set to any time. It could be 1, 2 years, 3 years, and that can be set on each type of document. So an SOP can have a certain periodic review date and a work instruction and so on and so forth. So with that, I'll just go back to my task. So I can click on this task here to gain access to the document change control that I need to approve. I've also received an email notification which I will open up in my Outlook Express to show you how the user gets notified. So the user can interact with the system via either the email, so in this case I'm using Outlook, and as you can see I've received a notification that tells me exactly what I need to do. It provides me a link to the document, so if I want to go take a look at the document, it says that I have to review and approve and complete the necessary edits to this change control form. So as the department manager, I'm most likely going to take a look at the document, and I'll also be able to click on this link here to gain access to the document change control form. So this is now where we'll begin the process. So as I mentioned before, Oliver's already initiated the change request, and he's already made the changes to that particular SOP that he wants to change. In this case, the SOP is called the logical security procedure, and it has a number that has been assigned to it. This numbering format is also something that our system does automatically. It generates unique identifiers for each one of our procedural documents or any control document in essence, and we can change the format here to be using anything that the system can read. So essentially, any metadata or any attribute of the document can be used to format this number, and we always typically append a unique sequential number at the end so that we make sure that every document is unique in the system. So it's capturing the department, the business unit department to which the SOP belongs. And in this case, the document change control owner is Oliver, who's the person who's going to be taking the document through its revision, and he's going to be signing off as the author, and I'm the request approver since I am the department manager. So here we see Oliver's already submitted the change request rationale, which is due to a recent security threat. User passwords have to be changed every 30 days. Normally it was 90 days, so we'll just make an amendment to the SOP for that. And as department manager, I can indicate when, for instance, I want this document to be effective. If it's not a rush, obviously I can extend that date out. In this section here, we can specify whether there are other documents that are affected. I can click on yes and then indicate which documents are affected, which means that we might also have to initiate a change process on those documents as well. Here in the training section, we'll indicate when we want the training to be completed. So I will make that the same date as the effective date, and this is going to be sent to all the trainees when the system automatically sends them task. They'll have a due date, and in this portion I can select the course that I want individuals to be trained on. So this is the integration piece with the training management solution, where it's reading all the courses that are assigned to this procedural document, and we could have multiple courses. There could be some that are read and acknowledge. There are others that could be, let's say, on-the-job training, which would require us to organize a classroom session. But usually what we have is what we could consider autonomous training, which means that it can be completed by an end user without any intervention by anybody like a trainer. They just need to read the document and, in this case, complete a quiz successfully. In this section of the form, I will be populating the people who will be performing the review. So in order to show you what that looks like in terms of the the parallel review, I will assign Oliver as a reviewer. So he'll be receiving a task once we submit this form to perform the review. And in here I can indicate the duration that he should be completing his review, or all the reviewers, in fact, should be completing their review. So this will indicate a due date as well when the reviewers obtain their task. Now, since it's going to be done in parallel, we can actually shorten that review period quite a bit, because we don't need to wait until each reviewer has completed their task. In this section, I'm going to be indicating the approvers, the individuals who are going to have to sign off on the document, and that typically includes the author, the process owner, who in this case is me, and you can also include other people such as QA that would need to be signing off on the document, but in this case we'll just include ourselves so that we can go through the process relatively quickly. So I'm going to go ahead now and submit this change. And so now we're back in the system, and essentially what's going to happen now is we've initiated the formal review cycle on the document. So any individual who's marked as a reviewer, the workflow basically is now kicking off on that change control form. It's reading who the reviewers are, and it's automatically going to send them email notifications telling them, hey, please come into the system and review this document, enter your comments and your feedback. So if I just refresh my dashboard here, in fact, I can see that I've received that task. It's populating here on my training management tasks for that particular SOP. This is the document that has been revised. And I can also open up my email notification, which has just come in, and I can see that I have instructions to perform my review and enter my comments on this document. So from this email, again, I have access to that document, and this is sitting in a centralized library where it allows parallel review. So we'll see in a moment, Oliver will also be logging into this document, and we'll be opening the document so that we can enter our comments together. And in fact, as you can see at the bottom left here, I can see that Oliver is editing this document. And so if we're both logged in, we can actually, if you have Link installed, it's something that it's a Microsoft product that allows you to chat. In fact, you can do chatting directly within the Link platform and then enter comments or send comments to each other. I can also see the section that Oliver is updating. So what the system does is it locks the section that the other individual is working on, so it avoids conflicts to the same area. So if I was to be typing in this section too and Oliver was typing at the same time, it would actually prevent me from making any changes because it knows that Oliver's already making updates to that section, and we don't want to have dual changes. So that's essentially how I can see what updates are being made, and each time I click on the Save button, the system will tell me if there are new changes that have been entered by any of the individuals performing the review. So I can take a look at this document and make sure that everything is correct, and as we can see here, this is the section that Oliver updated to indicate that the password needs to be changed every 30 days. So we removed the 90 days and we replaced that with 30 days. So I can accept that change, and I can accept this insertion as well. And so as the department manager, I'll basically save that comment, and I will also go in and complete my task. So this will allow me to indicate that my task is completed, and all the reviewers will have completed, will have essentially received the same task. If I needed to delegate, I could delegate my task as well to another person. There's ways of actually making sure that if, let's say, I go on vacation, the system will automatically delegate my tasks to other individuals that will be taking over my responsibilities while I'm away. But that's if I needed to just delegate this particular task, I could click on this delegate button, and that will send this task to another person. So basically now I've completed my review task, and Oliver's completed his review task as well. If I want to see all active tasks, I can click on that quick link here, and this is showing me all the active tasks that are currently in the system. So now if I scroll down to Oliver, I can see that he's actually received a notification or a task that's for a post-review assessment. So basically, because we as the reviewers of the document have completed our comments and are entered our feedback into the document, and we're the only ones who are participating, now Oliver's receiving this notification telling him that all the reviewers have completed. If there were, let's say, another several people performing the review, he wouldn't receive this notification until they were all completed. So this can make sure that we collect all the feedback from everybody that's been assigned as a reviewer. So next step would be for Oliver to just review any comments. If individuals entered additional comments or made requests for other changes to be made to the document, you can make those, review that and indicate whether it's accepted or not. And once he's done, the system will then go in and it looks like he's already completed that task, so it's no longer appearing here. And then essentially the next stage of the process, once he's completed his review, is that the system is going to convert that Word document now into a PDF. So we can actually go into the draft documents library, and I can show you essentially that that Oliver's document will now have a PDF rendition of it. So we can see, for instance, right here, Oliver Pierce's document, the logical security procedure, has been completed, and that the system has automatically generated a PDF version of that document. So we can take a look at it if we want to very quickly, but it's Oliver's responsibility at this point as the author to just take a quick look at this PDF rendition of the document to make sure that everything has been rendered correctly, that there's no errors. Sometimes, obviously, if you're rendering a PDF from a Word document, and in some cases you might have links, interconnections, or fields, automated fields that sometimes populate as errors when you actually convert them to PDF. So we have the ability to verify that PDF just prior to sending it off for the formal approval. And that's basically what Oliver is doing right now. So once he's completed that task, and I can go back to see here, we now see that he's received the task to approve the document. So since he's the author of the document, obviously he's going to have to sign it. So I can quickly see that he's got the approval task, and the approval tasks happen sequentially. So it'll happen in the order in which we've entered the approvers in the document change control form, so that if we want always to have the department manager or the QA manager approve after, we can control that sequence. So basically, Oliver is going to be signing off on the document, and as soon as he's completed his signature task, then I will be receiving a signature task, which I just have. So I can go back now. I'll refresh my my dashboard to show you that I have now a new task here that says document approval, and that will also take me to my my signature task. So there's that. That's one route, and then, like I said, each time we receive a task, we receive email notifications. So I also have this email notification that also gives me access to that task. It tells me that I'm required to sign off on the document. So as we can see here, Oliver's digital signature has been applied, and it contains all the components as required by 21 CFR Part 11. So Oliver's printed name, the reason for signature, the date and time stamp, and this is a digital signature solution that uses standard PKI and encryption technology. So I can now click on Sign. And I can actually, before signing, if I needed to take a look at the document in its entirety, I can just scroll through and see all the different pages of the document directly within the browser. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and sign. So I'll be indicating a reason for signature, and here we enter our username and password. Oops, make sure I get that correct. Okay, so once that's done, I should be able to refresh, and as you can see now, my signature has been applied, and I've indicated the reason for signature as the approver. And so what that's done is it's completed my signature task, and so we've pretty much now taken the document through that review, the drafting stage, to the review and the approval. So the next stage of the process is where the training will be initiated. So essentially what happens now is that the document will be placed into the training library, and I'll just jump into the training management module. And here we can take a look at the different components as well. So in the training management module, we have our quick links here that take us again to the typical items that users will be needing access to. And one of the key items here is the employee dashboard. So here, by clicking on this, I can see the tasks that I have that are currently active. So I have several activities for different courses that have various statuses of planned or scheduled. A planned activity is one which I know I'm going to have to take, but this one is a classroom-based session or a course that's going to require a trainer to actually schedule it for me, and then I'll be participating in a classroom-based. Those which are already scheduled are ones that I can already complete. So as we can see here, that logical security procedure that we just updated appears, and I have a due date, as I indicated in the document change control form of the 27th of February to complete that training. So I can simply click on that link. Gives me a quick description of this course, and it also provides me with a link to the document. So as a user, I can click on this link and take a look at the document that's just been signed in. So obviously this is being sent now to all the different users that need to be trained on this procedure. Since I'm the department manager, I'm also indicated as a person who's needing to be trained. So, I can take a look through the documents, make sure I, read all of the necessary sections, and then I'll go back to my dashboard. And here, I also have a link to the training quiz. So, by clicking on this link, it will pop up this training quiz form, which is also associated to the document. It has all the information about who I am, the department to which I belong, my business unit, and here I have the list of questions. So I'll go through and answer these multiple choice questions. In this case, we've changed the password management policy from 90 days to 30 days, so the correct answer here would be 30. I know that it's not considered acceptable to share my password with a colleague, so I'll say false. And the definition of a strong password is listed in that procedure, and I would be able to I should be able to get this answered correctly, and then I'll submit the quiz. And so what the system does is it verifies that I successfully completed the quiz and I have a score of 100%. So these quizzes are basically user-defined, and anyone can create a quiz within the system and assign that quiz to any of the courses that we have. And like I said, it's usually done with an autonomous training course, so that you don't need any intervention from a trainer or from the training management group. The user simply performs the quiz, and then I can close the form. Now I can go back to my dashboard very quickly, and I can see that activity is no longer present in this initial view. But if I switch to see the all training view here, I can see that it now has appeared in my course listing of activities where that I've successfully completed and I have a status of passed. So that's how a user would be able to see what training they have to do and what training they've already performed and completed in the system. So now let me just go back quickly just to mention as well, if as a user you're not necessarily always looking at your dashboard, I've also received an email notification telling me that I have to perform that training. And so it's something that the system will automatically indicate to the users as soon as an activity is sent. They'll receive that notification. Now, once I've successfully completed a training session, or a training quiz, I should say, the system will also generate training certificates automatically, and these certificates will be held in a repository, and I can see that I've completed several training activities. Basically, the certificate starts off as a Word document, but then it gets converted to a PDF and then sent off to a repository where it will stay for long-term retention. So at any point in time, we can go back and revisit and view any of the training certificates that a trainee has completed over their entire employment history. The training matrix, this is the location where users will typically members of the training management group will define the training courses. So here we can see the training course for that particular SOP that has just been modified, and so I can show you what that looks like. We have several attributes that we can assign, various course material. We can specify the retraining frequency, and so what that does is it'll apply a retraining date automatically to the activity which has been successfully completed. So if I completed it today, basically it'll say that I need to be retrained on this particular course in 12 months' time. And again, the system has a workflow which monitors those activities, and once I'm due for retraining, it will automatically create a new training activity for me, so that I will then have to be retrained and successfully complete that quiz just like I just did on that particular document. I can also indicate different types of attributes like the course type, whether it's read and acknowledge or on the job training, and the duration and the cost if necessary. These are just things that are entered in for information purposes. Now, one of the most important attributes here is the required job roles. So this is where we link the different courses to job roles, which is what creates the association between an employee eventually and the required training. So because an employee in the system would have a job title or a function that they perform, we can link that function to various job roles, and that's how the system determines who needs to be trained. So basically, as part of my job title, I have IT department and corporate as job roles, and so it knows that I need to be trained on this procedure, on this particular course, and it'll go through and scan anybody who needs to be who has those particular job roles in their job title. I can also initiate a training request if necessary by clicking on the training requests library here, and this will allow me to, if I need to create just an ad hoc training request for, let's say, a user to be trained or one of my employees to be trained, I can come into this training request and also select the reason for this training. In this case, I would select it as the manager, and I could specify the training due date. These request types, we have a standard request, which is one where I simply select the course that I want an employee to be trained on, and then I would specify the name of the employee. I could select them from this drop-down, and that would send them a request. And then there's another type of request which is called fill the gaps, filling the training gaps, which allows us to automatically select all missing training that an employee might have. And so I can select a particular course and verify whether or not there's particular gaps for that course. In this case, there might not be. Oh, here we go. So this course has several employees that are required to be trained, and I could specify a due date for this training, and then that due date will be applied down here, and I can, if I needed to change the due date for a particular employee, that would allow me to change it. But this would essentially assign training for that particular course to all these individuals that, according to their job title, are required to be trained on that course. Now let me go back and just close that, and we'll go back to the dashboard. We also have the training activities where I can go in and really see all of the activities that are currently going on. So in this view, I can see all the training activities grouped by the course. So if I look here at this logical security one, which is the one that we just initiated training on, I could see for the latest revision what the status is for all the people that are required to be trained. So for instance, we see Oliver. He's completed his training successfully. He's got a status of passed, and so have I. But we can see here that there are other individuals who are required to be trained on this course, but still have not completed their training. So this is a very useful list for members of either the training management group or the department managers who want to be able to see for a particular course or an SOP, who's completed their training, what's the status. So this will always give you the current status of that for that particular training course. Now we also have a training overview report. What this is using SQL reporting services, which is directly integrated within our solution. And here I can select the business units that I want to generate this report for. And this report is useful for being able to see all the required training for, let's say, a particular department. So let's say I'm the department manager of the information technologies department. I can see all of my employees that are part of this department, and if I click on the expand button, I can see what training activities they need to perform and the related statuses for each one of those activities. So I can see for this particular person who's got several trainings which are planned and some that are scheduled, and I can also see that there are some that are not scheduled. So anything that's not scheduled in essence would be considered a training gap, and that would mean that that person would need to we would then, as a department manager, fulfill the training request and request that that person be receiving all their training activities so that they can then complete all of they'll be considered fit for their job. So this is also calculating the fit for job that an individual has, which is basically the percentage of successfully completed courses that are assigned to them. So this is a report that's constantly being updated, and it refreshes itself periodically to make sure that the information contained within the report is accurate and up to date. And so at any point in time, as I mentioned, the department manager can come in and take a look to see what the status is for all the activities and all the employees within his or her particular department. So now I'll just go back to the main dashboard, and we also have one other report that very quickly just shows training gaps. So that this is essentially a very quick way. Let's say we have an audit coming up and we just want to see who's missing training and what are they missing training on. This training gaps report will basically tell us that, so I can very quickly go into the system and see which training activities I'm missing, or if another employee is missing training, I can take a look very quickly at the courses that are missing, and that will also let me know if there's something that's critical, obviously, and that we need to make sure that everybody is trained. Obviously, if I needed to do some additional filtering, if I'm, let's say, have a large number of employees, I might be looking at just information about a specific course, in which case I can select any of the parameters that we see here to further filter down this report and only show me the information that's relevant. So that's basically the overview of the training gaps report and the training overview report. So now what I'll do is go back and I now need to complete to be able to close out the entire process. What I'll be doing is actually indicating that all the training has been completed. So this is typically a step that the member of the training management group would perform, where they ensure that all employees have been adequately trained and that they've completed all the training necessary for us to be able to essentially consider the document to be effective, and basically indicate that we can now close out the process. So the very, very last step of the process is usually one where a member of the QA group who usually have oversight over this type of process will actually come in and make sure that everything has been completed successfully. So right now, since I'm logged in as the department manager, I've assigned myself the role of document management group so that we can also see what that looks like in the system, and eventually that'll be the last step that we'll be performing, and that will essentially close out the entire process, and we'll see that the document will be made, the new revision of the document, I should say, will be made effective, and then from that point on, all users will be accessing the newest revision of the document. So at this stage, we'll just go into the effective documents library, and in a moment we should see the document being moved into this library. So we currently still have the document at revision 2, and I'll just double check to see where the workflow activities are. It should be sending a notification to the document management group that they need to close out the document change controls. So as we can see here, we can even see activities that are assigned to various groups, and so in this case I have full visibility on all the activities as well as those that are assigned to the document management group. Since I am a member of this document management group, I can actually click on this task and see it. So as we can see here, it's telling me that there's a task assigned to close out this particular document change control form. So I can easily just click on this link, and essentially that will take me to the document change control form, which now I can completely close, and that will essentially close out the process. So let me go ahead and do that. And what that's going to do now is it's going to convert that document activity log into a PDF form. So let me just quickly go back into this document activity logs library to show you what that looks like. And I'll select the document activity logs just for this particular procedure. So as we can see here, we have complete traceability, all the activities from when the document was created, so the revision 0, 0 to 01, 02, and the one that's been completed today for revision 03. And as you might be able to tell, this is currently in a format that is still what's called InfoPath, and that is where end users can enter information. But what happens is once the process is completed, our system will automatically convert anything that is considered a record. So in this case, the document change control is considered a record, and it'll convert it to PDF, which is, I'll just show you the previous one that was generated. Here it's using a server called AdLib Express to render the PDF, which is why we see this watermark here. But basically what it does is it takes all the information that was entered into the InfoPath form, and it converts it to PDF. So that's going to then remain in our record center as long as the document is required to be retained. We'll be retaining all these change controls. So I can go and see the entire history of why a document was changed, and who it was that requested the change and who it was that approved it, as well as the person that closed it. So this is considered a record of change, and that is why we convert it to PDF. So now as we go back, I can just refresh the view here, and I've also now received a notification telling me that all the changes have been completed. And as we can see here, the system has actually already generated the PDF revision of, or version, I should say, of this form. And in a moment, we'll see that this will be the only version that will be available. So the system, what it does is it automatically converts, and then it removes the editable version so that it becomes static, and users cannot change that going forward. And let me just now go back into the effective documents library to show you that the revision 03 should now be present in this library, and in fact it is. As we can see here, this logical security procedure revision 03 is now effective. Actually, let me just go back quickly and show you the effective date. So it takes today's date and In this case, we've assigned a periodic review period of 2 years, and so it's applied that to the periodic review date. And so, as I mentioned, the workflow will be monitoring this periodic review date, and I believe it's 90 days prior to that date. It will automatically create a periodic review form. And I can click on this link here, which will take me to the document. And this document is actually living in a location called the Record Center, which is a separate location that is fully audited in the system, and we ensure that users can only have read access to this location. And we're making sure that even members of the administrators group cannot remove these documents or change them. We're able to apply retention policies to the documents to make sure that nobody can change any aspect of the document. So as we can see, this is currently the revision 3 that was just updated, and that is now the official version. So that basically that completes the entire process that I described initially. So let me just go back now to the presentation. And so just to summarize what the steps that we went through, we received a change request, so that was something that Oliver did. He submitted the change request, then I reviewed and approved the change control form. We reviewed the document together in parallel, where you saw that Oliver was able to enter comments and I was able to see that he was also making edits to the document, and this would be able to do with as many people as we've entered as reviewers. Then we both digitally signed the document, and we both received and completed our training tasks, and I was able to view the status of training activities. In this case, I was able to indicate that we can go ahead and make the document effective. So that's actually something that it's a question that comes up often is does our system automatically make documents effective? And in fact, what we do is we've decided to make that a step that a user must decide. So usually it's a member of the training management group that needs to make sure that the sufficient training has been done. And in some cases, not all individuals are present or able to participate in the training activities, and so we might decide to make a document effective even though it's not everybody that's required to be trained on it has received their training. And that's usually a decision that's needs to be made and needs to be rationalized. So we allow that to happen in the system. We don't enforce it because it sometimes causes issues where, like I said, somebody might be away and we still need to make a document effective. But the system is able to very quickly and easily show you who has been trained on what, as we saw, and so that decision can be made and very easily justified. And so that basically completes the demonstration. I think at this point, I would just, if you have any questions or if you would like to see any part of the system in more depth, or would like to have more of a one-on-one training, this was obviously just an overview, a quick taste of what our system is capable of doing. And I realized that some things obviously we're going through quite quickly, and so you might benefit from having a more one-on-one demonstration. If that's the case, please feel free to email us at the contact that you see here, and we'll be glad to set up a demonstration for you. So thank you very much for participating in this demonstration, and have a good day. Thank you.